Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for Webinar Wednesday 380. Can you believe that's how far we've come with this? Holy moly. My name is Maureen Buscher-Dang, and I'm a consultant with the SBDC. Normally, I'm in the background, which is where I like to be, but Kelly is on a well-deserved week off doing all kinds of fun stuff, I'm sure. And so we're going to do a little bit of a different format today, which hopefully you'll enjoy. In October of last year, Kelly put together a program with student interns from CSUB, and I'm flanked by two gentlemen who I'm going to have introduce themselves. Would you gentlemen please go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hi, yes. My name is Gonzalez. I've been interning here at the SBDC since October of last year. My concentration at CSUB is marketing, and so it's been really fun to learn marketing for small businesses through the SBDC.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ranjeet Singh, and I am a part of the SBDC team. And I'm also a student at Cal State, CSU Bakersfield, with a concentration in finance with business administration. And it's a pleasure being on the webinar today and going through some of the discussion off of the basis of AI.
Okay, so one of the things that we've been doing, and I'm pleased to say that I've worked with these gentlemen with several clients and on AI projects with businesses, and a lot has come out of that. It's just amazing how it is with AI and how I will show you some of that today. So one of the things that we're going to do, and you guys don't have to stay muted because you can jump in if you want, but rather than doing a poll, I'm going to have you, in the chat, please, I have two questions for you. The first one is, which AI platform do you use? And if you don't, just put none. So could you put that in the chat for us, please? So far, okay. I see none. ChatGPT, none. Copilot. Okay, that's interesting. Same. Copilot. I don't like to use Copilot. Oh well, that's okay. Okay, so then the second question is, what do you use? Which kind of projects do you use AI for? Could you tell us that, please? Homeschooling. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Anything else? Website, yes. Work stuff. Thanks, Leah. Okay. Find technical information, programming code snippets. Whoa, okay. Shay, yeah, you're for my small business branding cost analysis. This is all really good stuff, guys. Thanks for sharing. All right, so I'm gonna close out my chat. So obviously, since I'm on this side today instead of the other, you aren't going to have any resources in the chat, but all three of us have resources from our presentations we're going to do that will be in the on-demand, along with the video, YouTube. Yeah, YouTube's good too, Martin. Okay, that'll go out by Friday. So what our purpose is today here with AI, and a lot of it's going to be focused on Google Business Profile, because we all work with clients in that every week, and it's a very powerful tool. Let's see. What we want to do is to give you tools to understand it, to utilize it, harness it. Some of you, I can tell that we've got differing ranges, which was what we had expected, of experience with it. But our hope is that you will have actionable steps you can take when you're done with our webinar today, and so that it would be well worth your time. Well, gentlemen, do you have anything else that you want to add before we get going on with the rest of this?
We're clear from our side, but we're ready to dive in.
Okay, well, let's do that then. So what's up today? Well, we're going to take a look at AI and how the power of it, and with Google Business Profile, how to use AI to evaluate your online presence, and how to use AI to create content and evaluate your data. Now, Kelly, as I told you, will return next week, but Kelly, he's always got some kind of scintillating information that he will have. I just know it up his sleeve. Answers to your questions will be live. We'll put them in the chat, please. We will take them after Ranjeet is done with his presentation. Well, no, I guess I forgot to edit that out. Resources won't be in the chat box today. And no poll, because we already did it. You put your answers in the chat, which we are eternally grateful for. So, one thing Kelly asked me to make sure was on your radar as far as our community calendar is Jim Damian will be doing a presentation, and I've listened to Jim many times. You don't want to miss any time you could ever catch him talking about AI. This is going to be this Friday on May 22nd at the Kern County Superintendent of Schools building downtown. You just have to go through the kernfoundation.org to try to sign up for it. I don't remember seeing that there was any cost for it. I kind of doubt it, but I don't know. But it's this Friday, and check it out. The fact, if I remember, this one in particular is for incorporating artificial intelligence into nonprofit business practices. But stuff like that, you can always find ways to apply it. I think even to for-profit as well. So we have our toolbox. As you can see, there's a plethora of tools in our toolbox. One of my favorites that I know both of our gentlemen have used is Live Plan. It's where you do business planning. It's a very robust program for that. And then Vertical IQ, which we have all kinds of resources in there, statistics. If you're a statistics nerd, you will love it. But my favorite tool in our toolbox is our YouTube channel. We are now up to 537 subscribers, 344 videos. This one, I should have it edited and up no later than Friday. So you'll be able to see it there again, or if you've missed it, well, then you're not here and won't know, will you? But anyway, as far as if we give confidential, no cost, no obligation business consulting for new businesses, startups, businesses, no matter what part of the life cycle you're in, we can help you out. And we'd love to do that. So you can go to our website and check us out there to sign up, or give us a call down there in the bottom. I'm pretty sure Leah will take your call, but yeah, just let us know. And especially like today with anything with AI, if you want to take it further to help your business, we will be happy to help. So here's my portion, which is using Google Business Profile to audit your profile, but also to spy on the competition. I love that part. It's actually kind of fun. All right, so what I did was I had Claude, that's the program I use for what I'm doing today, create a fictional business dental practice. Now, one of the things we will tell you when you're using AI is it's notoriously known for being wrong on things. And so when this originally created this fictitious profile, the name it gave it, which I won't share, I looked it up online. It was an actual dental practice. And I'm glad I didn't do that because, well, just because that's not right in the first place. But yeah, you'll see when the audit it did on everyday dental care, very original name, right? Didn't come out so great. What we did was, so you go into chat, okay? And here's what you type in there. I call it instructions. You'll also hear it referred to as prompts, but you've got to be very specific with the profile, with your AI for what you want it to go out and look for online, right? So I'm not going to read all this for you. Well, by the way, you will also receive in your on-demand, I have 2 PDFs where you can do your own profile for your business, as well as then one where you can examine your competitors. So that will be coming to you in the email that will go out to all attendees from today's webinar. At any rate, so, excuse me, this is what we typed in to get what we're going to find out here in the next slide. But it's basically, we were very specific about how to rate different things with us, the different areas to evaluate, and to give it A through F grades. Well, here you can see, I don't think, the dental practice didn't get anything above a C, so they're going back to school if I have anything to do with it. One of the big problems as I'm looking at this for me as a marketer right away is the business description. you know what, it's barely one sentence. And so that's a big deal where, and you could use AI to write your business description. And then this had a lot of reviews, like 64 reviews, but it'd been 6 months since anybody had, you know, said thanks or anything. But what you want to do when your reviews, you don't, A, don't let them languish that long, and B, don't give it a thumbs up or a thanks. You need to go through and, you know, answer all of them. You'd be surprised how many times we see that kind of thing with clients. So, all right. So when AI gives you evaluation on, you know, where your strengths and weaknesses, and that one, remember, was the description. And so go back into AI, into chat. And so I said, okay, what's your recommendation? Your recommendation for Everyday Dental was our description for Google Business Profile. So I asked it to give one less than 750 characters and designed to appeal to families looking for a new dentist in Bakersfield. 750 characters is how many it is. That's the limit for your description. And so you can pretty much read there. I'm not going to read it out loud too, but what it gave me, in fact, I had to rewrite it to where it was a little more of I didn't like the tone that Claude originally gave me. It was a little bit more harsh than I wanted, and it used Bakersfield more than one time. So whenever you do that, you want to really go through it and make sure it has the tone for your business, okay? So then the next thing that we asked AI to do, this is where you're spying on your competitors, right? There's two ways to do this really, but one of them is where if you have specific ones, and in this case, this is what Everyday Dental did, you know, compared it to the same thing that Everyday Dental was evaluated on, but with the competitors, and then it was a comparison, and I'll show you that next. The other way, by the way, where you can do competition is you just ask, we go into AI and ask it to evaluate you first, and then evaluate, you know, competitors within, let's just say like the Bakersfield market, and you'll get a lot of information on that. Okay, so here's how the evaluation came out. I don't know that anybody did super well. I guess some of them did okay, but our top three priorities that came out of it was, let's see, stuff I already talked to you about, basically that, you know, we've got to hit those response rates. And then one of the things that competitors do better that I glommed onto here is those weekly posts. It's very critical on Google Business Profile that you do weekly posts on there, because Google likes fresh, regular content. And the good thing is you want, and AI can help you develop that content, but you can't just let it languish there with nothing. And that's what happened in the case of our dental care. So what I did was I just said, okay, well, that one of your one of the recommendations was to post weekly tips, right? So I said, okay, put it together here. And I hadn't even thought about this. This is one of the beauties of AI, is that, of course, my kids are older now, but just a little bit. You know, when should your child see the dentist for the first time? I mean, with bullet points. And I found, you know, AI is really good with stuff like this, where, you know, tips and questions and things. You would think maybe you couldn't do that, but actually it works out really well. Oh, I know one other thing on that one. When you make your weekly post, you always want to have an image that goes along with your post, and then a call to action, like you're going to drive it to your website or to have them call you. And you want to have an image that fits with your target market. The other thing is, nobody wants to read just text, right? So you've got to have the photo to accompany it so people can relate to it. Just my last slide here is, this goes along with when you get the 2 PDFs. Basically what it's going to instruct you to do is, if you wanted to, but it has step-by-step instructions on today. If you wanted to, you could go into your AI of choice and type in all of this, or it's basically copy, cut, and paste. And then it'll tell you what your weaknesses are, and then the suggestion here is you do just one. And I can attest to that. I had a client yesterday where there were, well, just a ton of things that person needed to do for their business. And she was overwhelmed, and I just said, just do this one today. And it was her description. And then after that, the stress was off, and I just said, well, just schedule these, schedule it, just don't tackle it all at once. It's overwhelming. And then it was actually even AI was saying, do it next week, but just get into a regular schedule on stuff like that. Okay, I'm done at this point. I'm going to stop my share, and it will be Victor's turn.
Thank you, Maureen. So I'm going to be talking about AI integration in marketing. And so I'll be covering three things today, which are logo creation with ChatGPT, Google Business Profile optimization, and social media analysis with both using Claude. So just a quick recap of what AI is. Just to put it plainly, AI is a software that understands plain language and responds like a knowledgeable assistant. So like the two AIs that I mentioned, ChatGPT and Claude, they're free and or low cost with more premium versions and are available to anyone with an internet connection. So starting off this logo creation, um, for each of my topics, I created a demo that I will be showing you guys of the steps that I did for a fake landscaping business that I created called Bakersfield Lawn Co. But before I do that, I kind of just wanted to explain what ChatGPT can do in terms of the logo generation. So as you'll see in a bit, it can custom logos tailored to your business name and industry. You can select from multiple styles such as modern, classic, or minimalistic, and also do things as color palettes or if you want certain icons. And so I think this is really important because, any small business owner can generate professional options at no extra cost. And usually it takes, a couple of minutes with the correct prompts, which my partner Ranjeet will talk about later. So in the demo, which is right here, I'll go over the prompts that I use, but I won't go too in depth with them. But basically for this first logo that I created, I wanted a logo for my fake landscaping business. So I wanted some earthy greens and warm tones, but also I wanted a simple logo. So usually with ChatGPT, I hit this create image right here, and after I type in my prompt, and then after that, you just run it. And this is keep in mind this is at two times speed, just so for the sake of the presentation. So it does take a couple minutes sometimes to generate an image, but it doesn't take too long. And so this was the first iteration that it actually generated for me. I was pretty happy with it. But I was kind of curious to see maybe to see it in a different aspect ratio, maybe for something like an Instagram story, which would be a 9:16, which would be right here. So there's a way you can change the aspect ratio. So once I did it by 9:16, it basically stretched out my image to make it vertical. And so something like this would be suitable for an Instagram story. But then I wanted to see, maybe, like I mentioned, maybe a more minimalistic type of logo, to remove the text and maybe just the icon, to possibly, maybe put on a business card, for example. And so then I ran that prompt. And yeah, like I said, it's at two times speed, so sometimes, it takes a while. And yeah, it generated this, just a simple icon by itself. And from this, I got curious. Maybe, if I was to start this business in real life, what would that look like on a business card? Maybe after finishing a client's lawn, handing them over a business card. And so I was curious about that, and I asked it, to make me a mock-up and a demo of what that would look like. And, it generated this for me. And so that way I could see the logo, you know, before maybe deciding to print it in the future or anything like that. And this is all in a single conversation. And even for example, maybe later on, if I didn't like how maybe I didn't want the tree there, I wanted the sun bigger or something like that. Those are things you can do um, by using ChatGPT to create a logo. So moving on to Google Business Profile optimization with Claude. Once again, this is all based on my fake landscaping business. Um, so how Claude optimizes your Google Business Profile. So a Google Business Profile is a free listing that appears when someone searches for your business or service in your area. It shows your hours, address, photos, and reviews before a customer ever visits your website. And so this is important because you know, once you optimize this Google Business Profile, it has the ability to show up on things such as Google Maps. So customers searching for landscaping near Bakersfield will see your business pinned on the map. But on top of that, when someone searches, once again, landscaping near me in Bakersfield on Google, it does have the possibility of your business being one of the first names that pop up. And once again, it'll pop up on the map. If we, I'm assuming we have all done Google searches for certain specific businesses, and those businesses you see in the front, they've done it because they've optimized their Google business profile. So this also builds trust fast. So the complete profile with description, photos, and responses signal you're a legitimate active business. And in terms of marketing, it costs nothing to set up and can drive consistent local leads without any ad spend. So here are just some ways Claude can optimize your business profile. So as Maureen mentioned in the business description, the Claude has the ability to write keyword-rich descriptions that tells customers who you are, what you offer, and why they choose you. It also has the ability to uh, create review draft responses. So this includes anything from drafting a warm professional response to customer reviews. And by doing this, you protect your reputation and you're building trust. You can also get ideas for Google Posts, anywhere from seasonal promotions to community spotlights and product highlight tailored to your business and local area. And the last thing would be a profile analysis. You would share your current profile details, and Claude will identify any gaps, suggesting keywords, and give you a prioritized action plan. And so here's kind of an example of that in real life. Because I don't actually have a Google business profile, I just typed a couple things in for my landscape business, such as the hours, maybe the reviews we have, how long we've been open for, anything, to get it close to maybe analyzing a real life business profile. So this is Claude. So once I run it, you know, um, in real life, it would be analyzing your business. And from there, you would get, uh, kind of the score, where maybe your strengths are. So, for example, one of the top strengths would be my business description is clear, service focused, and naturally readable. And a gap would be there's no Q&A section of like maybe the customer just wants to uh, get a peek into my business before they reach out. And so it would generate all this for you in Claude, and it would even give you keywords, for example, and then it would also give you a 30-day improvement plan. So for example, one of the top points would be to add, or that Q&A section that I mentioned, ask yourself 5-day questions from a secondary Google account and answer them from your business exam account. An example would be like, do you offer free estimates in Bakersfield? And then, the response for that, for my business would be probably, yes, we do. And then, so once you have this all generated, it kind of just lives in this conversation with Claude. What we can do is actually make it into a PDF report. And Claude will take all that information it just gave you and give you a PDF report of it, which I will show you guys next. And so this is what that PDF report would look like with all the information it just generated. And so from there, once again, it would give you keywords such as maybe primary keywords to focus in on, such as landscaping Bakersfield, even secondary keywords such as residential lawn service, and even specific neighborhoods maybe you can put in your Google business profile, such as Southwest Bakersfield. And it doesn't show it here, but you can also do by the surrounding areas of Bakersfield, such as Delano, McFarland, anywhere you might want to be of service. And so this would all be printable for you, and it would include optimized business descriptions, recommended keywords, review response template, and action steps ranked by priority. So moving on to social media analytics with Claude. So why analytics matter and why most owners skip them. So a problem is that sometimes analytic dashboards can feel overwhelming and hard to interpret. As you'll see in the next slide, there's an example I made of a mock TikTok analytical dashboard. But without this data, it is impossible to know what content is working. And so where Claude steps in is you can either export or even screenshot your analytics and paste them into Claude. And you can ask even a simple question as what is working and what is not, and any next steps you should take. So right here on the left-hand side, I just came up with a mock analytical dashboard for my landscaping business. As you can see, there's maybe some top videos. You can get information on where people are finding you. And yeah, it can be pretty overwhelming because, it's just a lot of numbers, but that's where, Claude can step in. So what I did was I gave Claude just a screenshot and I asked, can you analyze this data for me? Show me what's working, what's not. And from there, it produced, a summary of what's working, what's not. And the thing with AI too is sometimes, and my partner Ranjeet will talk about it later, is if you're not specific with it, it'll give you the information, but maybe sometimes it won't be as easily as digestible. So right here, it's giving me, anything from plans for the next couple of days to um, where my viewers are coming from, for example. And so what I did was to make it more digestible and easy to read was I just made a new prompt saying, hey, can you take this information you just gave me and just make it more simple for me to read and understand? And so as if you guys can see the difference, it's way more easy to read. The sentences are more concise. There's no kind of guessing through paragraphs. And so even gives you steps right here on what to do next. So, for example, in my landscaping business, from what I've seen on social media videos, I know a lot of them do voiceovers of their behind it or their before and after work. And so, something as a simple call to action of follow us, would be pretty beneficial for your business, and even just on the social media side of things. This is a simple marketing call to action. It's implementing into the strategy, and so it's one of the top 5 things to do. It would also maybe give you when are your best post times. So, for example, in this model, it would be between 6 and 6:30, and so in the future, you can maybe even ask it to develop a content calendar for you based on these analytics. And so, just some key takeaways is number one, ChatGPT image generation gives any small business access to professional logo design in minutes with no budget or design skills required. Number two is Claude can build a complete Google business profile strategy, including descriptions, posts, and review responses that help local customers find you. And finally, your social media analytics can become actionable when you share them with Claude. It tells you what is working and exactly what to do next. And this is going to be the end of my section. I will pass it on to my partner, Ranjeet, who will be talking about prompts.
Thank you so much, Victor, for sharing the insights on AI integration in marketing. So we'll be diving into some of the other topics that includes the prompting. So to get started, I would like to cover 2 things: is how to get better results from AI tools, just by changing a few of the ways of how we kind of communicate. And secondly, we will be sharing a real client success story about a small cafe that's here in Kern County that had used AI to completely transform how they schedule their staff. So without further ado, let's dive in. So what is a prompt? Let's start with the basics. What even is a prompt? It's whatever you type or say to AI, your question, your instruction, your request. I like to think of it as kind of giving directions to somebody. So if you say, for example, take me somewhere fun, you might end up going anywhere. But instead, if you tell AI, take me to the best taco spot within 10 minutes, you're going to get exactly what you want. The same applies with AI. So these tools can give you something totally generic or something that's going to be genuine and useful. The difference almost comes down to is how it's asked. So you've probably heard of garbage in, garbage out. The same applies here, but the flip side is also great prompts get great results. So the good news is that this is all a learnable skill. It's very simple to use. And the main tools that you'll see people using today is ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Copilot. And these all work very similarly when it comes down to prompting. Okay, so we will be discussing simple versus complex prompts. So let me show you what I mean with a quick side-by-side. So if you type, write a social media post about my restaurant, you're going to get something back that's going to be bland and generic. It could be for any restaurant anywhere. Now, if we compare it to write a friendly Instagram post for a small California cafe, we specialize in homemade breakfast. Tone should be warm and welcoming. Include a call to action to visit us. So you can see the second prompt gives AI something to work with, and it all comes down to being specific, on brand, and it is going to be pretty close, ready to post. So the key takeaway here is the context transforms the output. The more we tell AI about who you are, what you need, who it's for, and what tonality that you want, the more useful the results are going to be. So I'll be covering the 5 elements of a great prompt. So what makes a prompt actually work well? So I would like to simplify this with this framework, which includes 5 elements that you're able to mix and match. The first role is telling AI who to be. Something like act as a marketing expert for a small restaurant. That sets the tone immediately. Secondly is going to be context. Give it some sort of background. So I run a cafe in a small California mountain town with local regulars. That's more helpful information. Third is task. You want to be specific about what you actually want. For example, write a weekly special email I can send to my list is a lot better than just write an email. Fourth is going to be format. So you want to tell it how you want the answer. So give me 3 short paragraphs, friendly tone, under 150 words. So you want to set some type of guardrails. You want to keep it under 100 words. You don't have to use all 5. This is the key, is you don't have to use all 5 of these elements. However, the more you use, the better your results are going to be. Okay, so I have these prompts that I like to share with everyone on just adding some detail and context to what you're trying to get at and the results that you get back. So, for example, I had prompted ChatGPT act as a marketing expert and write a social media post for my small cafe. So I provided some detail and insights to it and what I'm looking for. And then you can see in the screenshot what it has projected back. The results, it comes back with fresh coffee, cozy vibes, and your favorite cafe treats waiting for you. It's added emojis for me. It's added hashtags that tie along to the entire post and my idea. Here's another example is write a job posting for a part-time server. So I've kept it direct, I've provided it information, and then at the same time, I want the tonality to be as friendly as possible and under 150 words. I don't want to exceed. I want to keep it under 150 words. So that's my requirement. And then ChatGPT uh, projects back the results. So it's made the job posting, it's kept it for a part-time server, it's kept the tonality friendly and welcoming, and the word requirement is fulfilled, which is under 150, just from my direct instructions. Okay, so we will be going over now to prompting in action, real small business examples. So let's take a look at 2 real use cases and see how a better prompt can change things. So take writing a job post. The before version is just write a job posting for a server. You'll get something, but it's not going to feel like your business. The after version, act as a HR manager for a small family restaurant. Write a warm, inviting job posting for a part-time server. Mention flexible hours and a friendly atmosphere. Keep it under 200 words. This type of extra detail makes a huge difference in the tonality and quality that you get back. Same thing with responding to a negative review. So I can put into AI and say, help me respond to a bad review. Or on the flip side, if I provide some more detail and insights and actually paste the review, I'm going to get a better result. So I can say, help me write a professional response, acknowledging the concern, offering a solution, inviting the client back, keep it under 80 words. So now you can get something that sounds more genuine and that you're able to actually use. So moving on to power phrases. So I would like to give one more thing that you can take home, a list of these power phrases that makes almost any AI prompt better. So the first example is act as a. So at the start, you want to immediately get a more focused expert level response. Give me three options is great because it stops you from just accepting the first thing that AI generates. In a friendly tone or in a professional tone, shapes the voice to match your brand. Think step by step is especially useful for anything that's complex, that you want more organized or accurate answers. Avoid this or that also helps you eliminate things that you don't want before they show up. Summarize in plain language is perfect for legal documents, contracts, reports. Make this sound more like me. Paste in an example of your own writing and then ask it to match your style. Lastly, give me a table comparing fantastic for research and decision making. I'll be diving into our client success story. So this is one of my favorite parts because I get to share what's actually been possible and what we've been working on. So we have worked with a small cafe owner right here in Kern County who has struggled with a common problem, which was scheduling staff without really knowing when their busy hours were. So they were basically making guesses based off of memory and gut feeling. So we helped the owner build using AI in their own sales data, completely changed everything, and I'll be walking through what we did. So we had created a customized scheduling intelligence tool. This was for the cafe owner. So we used their Square point of sales POS data. So we created a customized scheduling intelligence tool. What it does is it pulls together 3 years of sale history and it shows you hour by hour what revenue and transaction volumes look like for the same week in 2023, 2024, and 2025. The tool is set to automatically flagging the busiest hours with a fire emoji or icon, you can say. So at a glance, you can see exactly when you need to schedule your staff and when you can afford to scale back. It also has the capabilities of a smart filter that removes large transactions over $400. Things such as catering orders or invoices. So you know your staffing decisions are based off of real walk-in businesses. I will be going over how the tool works. So it's very straightforward, very simple and easy to use. So the first step is you would log into Square, Toast, any of the POS systems that your business uses. You'd go to reports, pull up your sales summary, and then export it as a CSV file. So you can do 1 month at a time. And then once you have all your data saved, you're able to upload it into the app. The data saves automatically. The second step is you would enter in any date within the week that you want to schedule for. So the app does the work of finding the same week across all prior years that you've loaded. Step 3 is you see the revenue history laid out hour by hour across all 7 days. You can simply just, with the touch of a button, assign shifts right there. The fire icon or emoji tells you exactly where your peak hours are. There's one quick side note is the app works best if you use it on the same computer and browser each time. Chrome is recommended because the data saves locally in the browser. So here is a look at the tool that we have created. You can see that the data is laid out each day, each hour with the historical comparison right there. The fire icons make it easy to understand where to concentrate with your staffing. So it's not complicated at all. It's a very simple and easy to use dashboard. It's designed to be simple enough to where you can open it up on a Tuesday morning and have your schedule drafted before your coffee gets cold. Just simple as that. So now I will be sharing you a video that shows AI prompting. So this was based off of a financial analysis. So I have ChatGPT loaded up for demonstration purposes here. I have uploaded my Squares data, POS data for demo purposes. And what I did was I was prompting it to get the most out of my data. As you can see, I prompted it to analyze the data set and identify revenue trends, profit opportunities, sales fluctuations, peak performance, any slow periods, and any financial risks or inefficiencies. So once you've extracted your data, you can input it, give it the same prompt, instruct it what to do, and then you can see the results. It's gave me the strongest revenue days, my total revenue, total transactions, my weakest revenue days, the peak performance periods, key patterns, slow periods and sales fluctuations, operational concerns, profit opportunities, the labor during dead hours, high ticket evening customers, financial risks and efficiencies, and just a few suggestions and takeaways from the data. The way you can use your data is amazing, and the way to prompt it is very critical so you can get the best results out of the data. Okay, and then next, I also have a second demonstration, which is a marketing analysis. So same concept, same approach. I uploaded my Squares data from my POS system into ChatGPT. Asked it to analyze the data set, identify customer behavior patterns, top performing products, peak buying time, sale trends, and I want it to recommend to me the marketing strategies or campaigns that I can use based off of the data. Sometimes it can take a quick minute, depending on how big the file size is. You can see it has identified the customer behavior patterns, peak buying times, sale trends, weekend revenue growth, average spending behavior, top performing products and services, and the projection for marketing opportunities and the key takeaways. So all this information you're able to get just by having some sort of data and knowing how to prompt it, being direct, having that context, knowing that what type of results that you want to prompt it in that way. So moving on, I just want to kind of emphasize to everybody that this approach is not limited to only restaurants or cafes. Any business with hourly staff, with a POS system can use the same framework. This includes coffee shops, bakeries, food trucks, juice bars, pizza places, diners, catering operations, any retail businesses that have a POS system that's, for example, using Square, Toast, Clover to run their transactions through. You can just simply go into the POS system, export all of that data, like I mentioned, into a CSV file, and then use it with AI. Another key point here is whenever businesses do use their own data with AI tools, it's important to always review the privacy settings and use trusted business accounts whenever possible to help protect company information. Many business AI platforms now actually have the capability of privacy protections by default. Some consumer versions may require you to actually manually go in and disable data sharing or training settings, but it's best advised to not upload any sensitive information. So just to conclude everything, A few things that I want everyone to walk away with today. First is prompting is a skill. And just like any other skill, you get better at it with more practice. If you add role, context, task, format, and constraints, you will definitely see an improvement. Secondly, even small tweaks to how you phrase a prompt can dramatically change what you get back. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the goal is to be specific as possible. Third is AI is an accessible tool for every business. So you do not need a tech team, you don't need a big budget, you just need the right prompts. That's the main key here. It is the right tool for specific problems. And fourth, a small cafe that's here in Kern County is living proof. A customized AI powered scheduling tool built with the SBDC support is now saving hours every week. So, if anybody wants to explore something like this for your business, that's exactly what we're here for. Get no cost small business advising from the CSUB SBDC. Visit our website or give us a call today. Thank you so much for everyone who has attended the webinar, and we look forward to connecting with everyone soon. And now is the time. If anybody has questions, you can feel free to put those in the chat, and we'll be more than happy to answer those.
Fascinating information, gentlemen. Hopefully, I know I've already seen a couple of things in here where people have said that it's been very helpful. Let's see. Let's take a look in the chat. I know we've got some questions in the queue. And now's the time, like Ranjeet said, to go ahead and put your questions into the chat or the Q&A. Either one. We'll be checking both. So Ranjeet, I know there's one here you and I had texted about in terms of what are the main pros and cons or differences between Claude and ChatGPT?
Yes, I'd be happy to cover those. So both are really great tools. ChatGPT, I would say, is good for writing, for data analysis. It does have more features and integration with ChatGPT. On the flip side, Claude is also just as great, I would say, for documents, summarizing large files, um, perhaps creating slideshows. Claude would be amazing for. Both have a great purpose. Both are just as good. What I personally like to do is if I'm working on a certain task, I'd like to prompt both of them. So that's just another suggestion. One of the approaches that I always take is if I'm working on a task, I'll prompt both just to see what output I can get from both. And then depending on what the results are, I'll go off of that. But both are great platforms to use. Some people just have their own preference.
Okay, actually, the next question kind of folds into that. How do we find out the best AI tool platform to use for a specific task?
So I kind of broken it down for myself as in, for example, if you're doing anything with writing or documents, Claude tends to be pretty good at that compared to ChatGPT. As you saw, if when it comes to like image creation, I think ChatGPT is pretty better than Claude when it comes to that aspect. Um, so I would say when it's in the design portion of it, I would say Claude, um, I mean ChatGPT is the way to go with those tasks. But if you're doing more, I would say writing on the writing side or anything of that nature, or even maybe researching analysis. I would say maybe Claude is a little bit better for those tasks. But as you saw from Ranjit's presentation, when it comes to analysis like Excel data, um, I would go with Chat. So that's kind of um, the different comparisons. And I saw the question here actually said, is it worth using paid version or free version? Honestly, depends how much you use it. So with both Chat and Claude, you can quickly run out of prompts to use, and you would have to wait a couple hours, usually a couple hours, to use it again. So I think me, Maureen, and Renji, we've all upgraded to the paid version just because of the work we do with it.
That's for sure.
But if you use it occasionally here and there, the free version it lasts a while before you start running maybe into that little issue of like running out of time and having to wait.
Okay, so Martin asks, if I am a self-employed YouTuber, does SBDC work with those clients? I know AI can be a great tool for what I do. Sure, give us go online and we'll work with you. Um, yeah, give us, go online, sign up, and it would be fun to see what we could help you do. Let's see. You already answered that
Yeah,
one.
I think there's a question from Chris. So just to better answer that, so prompt injection is basically when someone tries to trick AI to ignore rules or expose information. So AI safety focuses on responsible AI behavior, AI security protects systems and data from attacks. Also, AI privacy protects confidential information. So to follow, there's GDPR and CCPA. Businesses should secure their data, limit access, and give users control over their information. So companies can actually use enterprise AI platforms and vendor agreements that prevent data from being stored or used for AI training purposes.
Okay, here's a good question. Do any of these AI platforms integrate with LivePlan?
Yes, of course. So you can actually use LivePlan and AI. So I believe with LivePlan, once you have filled out everything, you can actually export your business plan and attach it as a document or file to ChatGPT or Claude. And then, like I mentioned, prompting is key. So you can prompt it, be specific, give it what you kind of want the results to be, and then it will go hand in hand and give suggestions for life plan or like for the forecasting stages. So definitely you can use life plan with AI.
Okay, Elizabeth asks, do I have to live in Central California to get access to SBDC one-on-one sessions? No, actually. Elizabeth, wherever you live, you can just go online. Actually, you can go onto our website and you'll type in like your address and zip code, I think. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, just it'll direct you to the SBDC in your area, and then you can contact them for assistance. So no, you do not have to live in Central California. Let's see. Wow, we're getting all kinds of questions here.
Speaking about actually about assistance, I saw a question from Martin. Um, does the SBDC provide any marketing and advertising assistance? And yeah, yes, we do. Me and Maureen have helped some clients in the marketing with their small businesses.
Okay, I'm looking over. We'll look back in the chat again here, but I want to make sure that we get to the ones in the Q&A. Can I get a recording and the PowerPoint? Yes. By Friday, you will have a recording of today's webinar, as long as any of the resources that didn't go into the chat, but there will be links for resources in there, and we'll be happy to get that out to you. Then Santosh asks, I am a startup and wanted to build agents who going to talk on behalf of a CSR or anyway, I think they're trying to come up with using chat to build in where you've got like a bot that'll do help people online, right? So do either one of you know anything about that? Using AI to help build agents? Victor or Ranjeet?
Yes, so I do know that for the this was this Santosh's question?
Yes.
Yes, let me just pull that up. Sorry. Yeah, so we can actually support AI products with AI agents and voice agents. We can help with like a startup planning. I do know there are a few resources that we can connect you with as well and work on like the business strategy side of that. If that answers the question.
Okay, let's see. So if you want the resources from today, anybody who registered for the webinar, whether you are an attendee or a registrant, you will be able to receive that. Let's see now. There's another question here from Shay. A few weeks ago, there was news about Claude Core code being exposed, and we see almost daily systems being hacked and data being stolen. How secure would our data be if we upload details we could not afford to be made public? I guess a physical storefront might have less sensitive data to worry about programming. So how do they protect themselves?
Okay, so I would say no AI platform should be treated as 100% risk free. The safest approach, like I was also mentioning, is to avoid uploading any confidential, sensitive information unless you're using an enterprise level AI platform that has privacy protections enabled, data retention disabled, and there's a strong agreement in place. For software and program companies, many businesses actually use secured APIs or their self-hosted solutions to reduce these risks. It's also important to limit what data is shared with the AI system. So I would mainly kind of base it off of the privacy policies carefully, before entering any confidential information into AI.
Okay, last question here, because we are up just a little bit over 1 o'clock. Martin asks, if a business hasn't been fully registered, but someone is still trying to establish, can they get help? I'm assuming you mean through the SBDC. We help all kinds of people who, they haven't started their business. We call them a business startup. So yes, we'll be happy to help anybody who's trying to get their feet on the ground and get going. Established businesses, new businesses, anybody who's got an idea. So, okay, gentlemen, do either one of you have any closing comments today or recommendations for our audience?
I just want to say I hope everyone here has learned a little something today. I know this is the first time me and Ranjeet have been on here. So thank you for having us. And like Maureen said, we help businesses at whatever stage you're in. And so we'd be more than happy to help any of you. And yeah, thank you for your time today.
Ranjeet, do you have any closing words?
Just like to say to all of the audience, thank you for tuning in to today's webinar. It was a pleasure being a part of the webinar session today, especially with yourself, Maureen and Victor. And if anybody is interested in getting information or starting up a business, you can contact us through the website, sign up as a client, and we'll be more than happy to help set up that for you.
Great. Okay. Well, great job today, everybody, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure to do this with you today. And that's a wrap for Webinar Wednesday 380. Kelly Bigden will be back next week. And so for Ranjeet and Victor, I'm Maureen Buscher-Dang. Thank you for joining us today and have a great day. Bye-bye now.